The sun was just rising over Ouagadougou, turning the sky gold. On that morning, President Ibrahim Traoré felt something stir in his heart. Instead of the usual day of meetings, speeches, and reports, he chose something different. "I want to see my people with my own eyes," he told his chief of staff. "Not on paper, not in reports, but in reality. Take me to National Hospital." And no preparation, no sirens, no ceremony. His team was shocked, but Ibrahim's decision was final. Within the hour, a plain car drove him to the hospital, guarded only by two quiet men. He wore a simple traditional shirt, blending with the early crowd. The hospital director rushed forward nervously. "Mr. President, we weren't prepared for your visit." "That is exactly why I came," Ibrahim answered calmly. "Show me everything, as it truly is." Inside, the reality was painful. Long lines of patients sat on wooden benches or even on the floor. Mothers tried to soothe crying children. Nurses rushed between rooms with exhaustion written on their faces. Paint peeled from the walls, and water leaked through the ceiling. Medicine was short, equipment broken, and yet the people still came, clinging to hope. Ibrahim walked slowly, shaking hands, kneeling to speak with the sick, offering words of comfort. A mother holding a weak child burst into tears when he promised, "We will work to make this better." "You are not forgotten." Then, something unexpected happened. As he turned a corner, his foot slipped on a wet patch of floor. "Careful, sir," came a soft voice. An elderly woman in a faded blue uniform stood with a mop and bucket. She looked down, embarrassed. "Forgive me, Mr. President, it's nothing." Ibrahim smiled gently. But something about her voice and her posture caught his attention. He studied her face. Tired, dignified, strangely familiar. His heart beat faster. "What is your name?" he asked. "Aminata," she whispered. The name struck him like lightning. Memories stirred, faint images of childhood, laughter, a warm embrace. He could not place it, but he felt it deeply. Later, unable to forget her, he found Aminata again in a quiet hallway. She admitted she had worked in that hospital for 23 years. When he asked where she came from, she replied softly, "Kwa, in Sanmatenga province." Ibrahim froze. Kwa was his own village, the place of his childhood. "Do you know a woman named Fatima?" he asked. Aminata's eyes filled with tears. "Yes. She was your mother. And I cared for you when she grew too weak. You called me Mama Nina. In that instant, the past opened before him. He remembered the bracelet of shells his mother once tied on his wrist, the stories told by firelight, the gentle hands that cared for him. This woman, Aminata, had been his second mother. That night, Ibrahim cancelled all meetings and went alone to Aminata's modest home. It was small, but full of dignity. She welcomed him as if she had been waiting for years. From a wooden box, she brought out the bracelet he once wore as a child. "Your mother gave me this," she said. "She asked me to protect you. And when she passed, I raised you until your relatives took you away." Ibrahim held the bracelet, tears filling his eyes. "Mama Nina, I remember now. You were there in my childhood. You gave me love when I had nothing." They talked for hours. Aminata spoke of the little boy he had been, stubborn, playful, full of questions. She told him stories of him pretending to be a rooster, of falling into a shallow well, of sleeping with a small blue blanket. Bit by bit, his forgotten childhood returned. Ibrahim realized that while he had risen to power, Aminata had lived a quiet, humble life, working as a cleaner, raising her niece, asking nothing in return. Yet her silent love had been the unseen root of his life. The next day, Ibrahim made a decision. He arranged a peaceful new home for Aminata and her niece Fatu. He secured her retirement with honor and dignity. But he knew this was not enough. Her story was bigger than just 2 lives. Weeks later, at the presidential palace, Ibrahim held a special gathering. Ministers, hospital staff, villagers, and journalists all waited curiously. Standing beside him was Aminata, nervous but dignified. Ibrahim spoke to the nation. "This woman is more than she appears. When my mother grew sick, Aminata cared for me like her own son. Life separated us, but fate reunited us. She worked all her life in silence, without recognition. Today, I honor her, and all women like her, who raise children not their own, who hold our society together with quiet love." He handed her the keys to her new home and a plaque engraved with her name. Then he announced the creation of a new charity, the Root of the Heart Foundation, to support women who raise and protect children in difficult situations. The hall erupted in applause. Aminata, moved to tears, spoke softly, "I am not educated, I have no big words. I only know this, love has no limits. When I cared for little Ibrahim, I never thought of the future. I only did what our ancestors taught, that it takes a whole village to raise a child. I am grateful today that God allowed me to see my son again." Her words touched the entire nation. Across Burkina Faso, women who had raised orphans or children of neighbors felt proud. Stories began to pour in, and the new foundation grew quickly, supported by people everywhere. Later, Ibrahim traveled back to Quo with Aminata. For the first time in decades, he sat under the old baobab tree where he once played barefoot. Villagers who remembered him as a child brought small keepsakes, even a wooden toy he had carved long ago. That evening, as the sky glowed red, Ibrahim sat beside Aminata. "Do you mind if people call me your son now?" he asked gently. She smiled through tears. "You have always been my son, Ibrahim. Nothing ever changed." In that moment, a president was not just a leader, but a child reunited with the love that shaped him. And the country learned a lesson too. True greatness is not measured by power, but by gratitude to those who loved us silently.